Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Sandra Lee, and
Fiona May from Women on Transition.
today's call is about you are one call away from
Finding joy in the present moment.
Absolutely.
So, being mindful, being here, being, engaged when people are talking to you or having conversations. So, being present and giving your presence to other people. So, we're going to have a look at that today.
Absolutely. And, it's something that we all know when somebody is talking to us and they're not connecting with us, they're not making eye contact, they're not being there present energetically, you can feel it. You can feel it before even you see it. And so we're going to share some of the strategies that you can take into life about how you can put into practice some really cool things that are simple and easy to do every day.
Yeah. So you're one call away from from finding joy in your present moment, ladies. Like, we don't need to wait for something to happen or, for life to change for us to be happy. We get to have that choice every single minute of every single day. So in the world that often moves at a frantic pace, it's easy to become distracted from the present moment. But what if I told you that true joy and contentment can be a choice away? It's possible to control our mind and rediscover the power of living in the here and now. So Sandra and I are the head coaches at Women on Transition. We help ladies to transition through separation and divorce to be able to come out the other side as whole, healthy, happy, beautiful women who trust themselves and love themselves at a core level. And that's such a skill, and it doesn't happen by accident. So we're going to share with you some of the concepts that we teach our clients, what's going to help you to be able to be present, give people the gift of your energy and your grace of being with them and actually connecting at a heart level, not just a superficial level.
Yeah, one of the things that does happen when you go through separation and divorce, speaking from experience, is chaos. You're so overwhelmed all the time, and you just have so many things on your plate. You might have to move out of your home, or your ex does. You might have to manage the kids and them going and spending time with you and your ex as well. And then you've got to deal with all the emotions attached to that, financial side of things, your business, possibly your workforce, and how you show up every day is just a minefield of challenges and problems that come up that you never ever thought you'd be in. So it is. So introducing that concept of mindfulness is something that none of us, or most of us, have never had to do, because we've just got on with life. We've been able to just manage what we and where we're at. But when you get hit by a train, the train, that crash can be leaving lots of things all over the place. So this is number one. It's that presence. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, aware and engaged in the current moment without judgment. So it's just listening without thinking about what you're going to say. Quite often you're talking to somebody and then you can already see their mouth moving or their eyes moving, and they're racing ahead already, wanting to add in or interrupt you. And that's not being present. Present is listening fully and just listening and waiting for them to finish and then sharing. And this is something that we can race ahead because we are limited with time and we've got other priorities and we're too busy to deal with them. So this is something to be really conscious of, just being present and staying in that place. So you are listening to your kids. You are listening to what's going on with your family, your ex, your finances, your accountant, all the things that you need to be really paying attention to at this time. And number two is intention. It's a purposeful practice of centering your attention on the here and the now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. So what is your intention? Your intention is just right now, I'm just going to pay attention to what is in front of me, what you're saying, the documents you're showing me, my goals of what I want to, where I want to live, maybe what car I'm going to end up with, or what is the intention right now? It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be, do I want to show up as a happy, contented mum, or someone that's going to be a role model for my kids, someone that I'm going to be able to look in the mirror down the track and be proud of how I showed up through this challenging time. And number 3 is acceptance. That mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts and feelings with compassion without getting caught up in them. So we're actually curious. We're going, okay, well, what made me feel angry right then, right now? What made me feel sad? What made me feel, and just to come back into ourselves and look at what's showing up for us and why we've been that person at that time.
So the benefits of living in the present moment, because there's always lots of benefits in the choices that we make, the same as like sometimes the choices we make can actually really limit us and cost us things as well. So the first benefit of living in the present moment obviously is it reduces our stress. Mindfulness has been shown to lower our cortisol levels, and cortisol is the stress hormone. So the body's main stress hormone, if that's in overdrive and you're always under pressure, you're always having to perform, you've got a million things to do, then you're always going to be in that fight or flight mode, and you're always going to be challenged, and you've got a million things on your plate. So it's really hard to slow down and just be aware of how you're showing up in the world. And it really makes a difference how you show up in the world, because how you show up affects everybody else around you. Often we forget that. Often we think that other people are doing and saying things, but very often it's because of how we're showing up in the world. And when we really step into that, being responsible for how we show up, we start to be consciously aware of how that impacts and affects other people. So we're going to be more calm and relaxed if we're actually just, showing up consciously and, making an effort to connect with people at a heart level, get out of our heads and get into our hearts. The second thing is that it really, if we increase our focus, if we anchor our attention in the present, you may enhance your ability to concentrate and be more productive. So, women often think that they can multitask and they've always got 10 things on the go at once, but even though we are very talented and we're clever and we're smart and we can do that, it doesn't mean that all 10 things are getting looked after at the level that they should be getting looked after. But, when we're present, when we're really focused, we can actually increase our ability to get things right on one thing at a time. So some of those differences between the masculine and the feminine are helpful for us to know here, because men are linear. They do focus on one thing at a time and they don't do anything else until that one thing is done. That can be terribly frustrating to women who do multitask, because they wonder why men can't multitask. But, there's pros and cons. I'd want you to be consciously aware. If you've got too many things on the go, you might be handling them all, but you might not be doing all of them well. So, just be careful what you concentrate on and what you put your focus to. The third thing is our emotional well-being. Now, practicing mindfulness can help us cultivate a greater sense of inner peace, joy, and appreciation for life's simple pleasures. So when we are just aware of how we're showing up, then, one of the gifts we can give ourselves and other people is being grateful. And when we're grateful, we tend to want to just be thankful for everything we have. We're not comparing ourselves. We're not feeling like we're ripped off. We're not, blaming or complaining or thinking that, other people have got more than us. We just come back to being centered, being grounded, and being thankful and grateful. And, that makes us, we're easy to be around. We're easy to love when we're grateful for everything we've got in our lives.
Absolutely. And this is a neuroscience of happiness, neuroplasticity. It's a mindfulness training, and it's shown to increase gray matter density in brain regions associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. What is it that you're stretching it's like an elastic band. What are you stretching that elastic band out constantly to be able to stretch it into being able to grow and learn and try new things? And that's when we move out of overwhelm, because overwhelm's when we just can only think about here. Whereas when we stretch it, we're opening up that to a football oval to allow all the thoughts and feelings to go into a bigger space. And they do spread out. We can be present then with just what's in front of us and being able to just bite off that elephant one bite at a time. So there is some science behind how this all works, and it is understanding that. But the big key to it is just being present and just chunking it down to, I remember going through my separation and like, there's no way I could imagine where I'd be in 12 months, that alone 6 months, that alone next week. So if you're feeling like that, just think about how I can chunk down today, where I'm going to be in the next hour. What do I need to do this hour? I need to make a phone call. I need to pick up the kids from school. I need to just do one thing this hour and break it right down until you can just make sure that you're looking at it and you can feel like it's manageable. And the dopamine releases, mindful practices can stimulate the release of dopamine and the feel-good neurotransmitter, leading to a natural mood boost. So once you go through and you get this feel-good vibe. It's like when we first meet somebody and we've got a real good vibe with them, right? And this is what it's saying is, what are the things that chocolate does it, and the things that give us a real good feel-good, and we want to do it again. So this is something that you can train your brain to enjoy. Going for a walk, picking up the kids and spending time with them, go and buying ice cream, go for, sitting down by the beach and having fish and chips, or what is it, or just having a walk in the morning. And so these are the things that you can be creating as your own happiness, your own science of happiness. And the reduced amygdala activity is mindfulness can help calm the amygdala and the part of the brain responsible for processing fear and anxiety, promoting greater emotional stability. And so this for us is something that, what is it that's going on that's creating that fear? What's causing that, oh my God, that fear that comes up? This is where we are triggered from something that could have maybe happened to us in the past. Maybe it's a smell, maybe it's a memory, maybe it's an experience that we've had, and it comes straight back up and it triggers this amygdala, and it goes into what we are most fearful of is going to happen to us now. So it's us retraining that to go, you know what, I'm just going to breathe through this. That shark cannot get me in the car park. So we're breathing through it, and we're getting ourselves back into a place of rational thinking, and then we're coming back into the present, and we're actually training ourselves and our thinking to go into a calmness.
Okay, so let's look at some simple mindfulness exercises, ladies, because when we become mindful, and mindful is just a word for becoming conscious, becoming aware of what's going on in our head, because we've all got that little voice on our shoulder. Most of us have got a little angel and we've got a little devil, and whoever you feed the most, whoever you take notice of the most, that's the one that's going to speak the loudest. So if you're always praising yourself and giving yourself, being kind to yourself, being loving, being nurturing, then you're looking after your little angel. But if you're listening to your little devil, you'll be taking notice of when it tells you that you're not enough, or you can't do that, or play it safe, don't take risks. So our little devil is a little devil, and it can be a she devil or a he devil. But it limits us and it stops us reaching our potential. And so you've got to decide, and it needs to be a conscious decision as to who you're going to listen to. But for most people, they don't know how to handle it and what to do to stop that little voice running their life. Now, the truth is that only 10% of the population are in control of their little voices. 90%, the little voices actually run their life. And that's pretty scary, isn't it? Because that means 90% of people aren't mindful. They're not consciously aware, and they're often just running on fear. Their past patterns and their past behaviors and everything they've learned, that's what limits them and controls their life. And so, coming back and making a choice to be mindful is a conscious decision. So the first thing that we would get you to do is we teach you about breath work, and, taking a few minutes to focus on your breathing, noticing the sensation of air moving in and out of your body. breathe in courage and breathe out fear. You know, we get our girls to stand in a superwoman pose, shake himself out, put himself in state, and choose how they're going to show up in life. And part of that is their breathing, you know, breathing in courage and breathing out the fear, not allowing the fear to run our lives. The second one is what we call sensory awareness. So this is tuning into our senses. So we've all got 5 senses. Taking a moment to observe your surroundings with curiosity and attention. So we want to be aware of what's around us, who's around us, you know, use our senses, our smell, our sight, our touch, our taste, and our feelings. So, you know, we've got ways of tuning in and using our senses to be able to be aware and engage with what's happening around us. The third one is our self-awareness. You know, scan your body so you can be aware of what triggers you, and be aware of where you hold that tension in your body. You know, be curious about where your stress is. So often people will feel things in their body and they think that they are an illness or a strain or a disease, but very often it's just stress. You know, I get a burning in my shoulder blade sometimes when I'm, you know, haven't been consciously aware what's been building up in my life. And I get a burning in my shoulder blades, and that's my body telling me that I'm holding my stress. And then I need to do some mental as well as physical exercises to release that stress out of my body. Some people get butterflies in their stomach. That's not butterflies. We know we don't have butterflies in our tummy. We have stress in our tummy. And we have a lot of people that call stress, they call it anxiety. They call it stress, obviously. They call it depression. They call it, you know, all different names. But the truth is it's all fear that we have, and we lock it in our bodies and we don't deal with it. We don't heal from it. And then the stress ends up being the thing that we're focusing on and we're concentrating on. And the problem is you go to the doctors and the doctors put a label on it, and then you become your label. And so it's really powerful for us to just go underneath everything we're being told and everything we're hearing, so we can just check in and get back to a state where we're just checking in with ourselves at a cell level, noticing in our bodies where we're holding our pain, noticing in our bodies where we're holding our stress, and just being present to what else could be possible for us in our lives, instead of just being busy with everything else that's happening all around us.
Absolutely. And I think something that we consciously do things, it changes things. When we subconsciously do things, it's like we just breathe, right? And we don't even realize we're breathing in high fight and flight. And it's a high level puff pant, short breaths. We don't even realize until we start thinking about our breathing. And this was a big aha for me. When I went back, and I years ago, I had somebody do, like he said, just breathe in for 7 seconds. Hold for 7 seconds, and then breathe out for 7 seconds. And if you do that 7 times every morning and 7 times every afternoon, it puts your body out of fight and flight and straight into rest and relaxation and recharge. And it was a massive shift for me, because I was thinking, well, I just don't even think about my breathing. But once I started thinking about it, I started realizing I'm always in fight and flight. I'm always shallow breathing. It's the worst thing your body can do, because it thinks it's always got to go and chase, you know, a lions or something.
Lions in the caveman days.
So the impact of technology on our attention, that constant connectivity. The digital age has led to a state of perpetual distraction with 24/7 access to information and communication. You might be like me and sleeps with their phone next to the bed. Well, one of the things I learned to do was put that do not disturb on it, because I work with people from all over the world, and, you know, people don't realize I'm in a different time zone. And when I'm sometimes traveling and even in a different time zone to what I was last week, it's not other people's fault for waking you up. It's your responsibility to make sure that your phone is on silent or out of, you know, something that's going to distract you. So mine's on silent. It's turned upside down so I can't see any lights coming on. And it's turned to a point that unless I turned my alarm, because we quite often now use our phones for our alarms, but my alarm's on and that's it. And it's really important that, you know, you take control of your your 24/7 access that's interrupting your day, and it's causing you to stop giving attention to being present and giving attention to these. Some of you might have experienced the time management square. Is it urgent and important, or for you, or is it urgent and for you and important to someone else, or important to you and urgent for someone else, or not urgent, not important? So these are the things that when we go into that, it's urgent and important for someone else, and we spend our life in that place of always chasing our tail to try and serve and meet other people's demands and time.
It's our people pleasers, isn't it?
And we end up sick, we end up stressed, we end up burnt out, we end up exhausted, we end up never accomplishing anything we want. It's that if you can say, I've been so busy this week, but you couldn't tell me the one thing you've actually done, then that's you. So it's how you can shift from that is to really break down what you've been doing and spending your time on. And if you really look at it, it's other people's stuff or other people's priorities, not your own. So this is up to you to shift that and really change it to being present and making sure that you've got your life under your control. That fragmented attention, our brains are struggling to keep up, leading to increased difficulty in focusing and being present. If you're swamped by all these things going on and all the, like, I used to call it like the squirrel attention, like you're paying attention to something and then, a squirrel runs past and it's like a puppy dog. He looks across and he bolts. He's training to stand still or sit. And the squirrel runs out of the tree and runs across the lawn and off he goes. Well, that's the same as our mind. If we're sitting there looking at something that's work related and a reel comes up on something, or a message dings or an email dings in our inbox and shows on our screen, and we pay attention, well, that's a squirrel effect. And I think at some level we all have that level of distractions coming in, and it's just how we manage them, and it's up to us. So fragmented attention, it's no attention. Like, you're not giving attention to anything when you're giving attention to everything. And the results you end up with is no results, because you end up trying to be the people pleaser to everything and all people, and it doesn't work. You end up not making anyone happy, and you're certainly not making yourself happy. So choosing where you're giving your focus, being present and showing up and doing what you need to do sounds simple, but it is hard to do. That emotional toil, the demands of technology can contribute to feelings of stress, anxiety, overwhelm, impacting on our overall well-being. And that ding, that feeling like, it's another email, or it's another task, or it's something I've got to be actioning that I'm behind in, or I'm overdue on. And so it's up to you to control how much dings you're letting into your life as well. And the other thing is just that I find just letting other people, other things control your well-being. What do you need to do every morning to show up and set up your well-being so that you show up as a human being, as opposed to your to-do list, and show up as a human doing? Show up as a human being versus a human doing.
Yeah. So, ladies, let's have a look at some practical strategies to reduce your distractions. So the first one is to do a digital detox. In no time in history have we ever had the amount of plugging in that we have these days. We're so connected to so many different appliances, and I know myself, I've got probably about 8 ways that people contact me. It used to be an email or a text message when we got a phone. But now with SMSs, texts, we've got WhatsApp, we've got Messenger, we've got Facebook, we've got...
You can't even find where someone's message came from.
Sometimes when you're looking for, how did that person contact me? I know they contacted me, and I have to go through 8 different ways of, looking how that message come in. It's just such a bloody, I won't say it's a headache. Headache. It's a headache. That's what it is. So, we've got to set boundaries around our technology, how we use it, how we allow it to control us. And I would also suggest that you designate tech-free zones or times of the day that there's no tech. One of the things that, my partner, he loves, his love language is having connection, quality time together. And the minute I sit down to have tea, so I always make sure that I knock off and come in for tea, and he'll wait for me to have tea, but he puts phones away, because for him, he just wants me. He doesn't want the competition of having my phone go bing, 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 bing. What it does. And if I'm not consciously aware and I'm not honoring my partner, it's very easy to sit there and just allow technology to take over our lives. I got a train home the other day, and it was the first time for so long, and I was just amazed with how lack of interaction there was on the train. Everybody had their headphones on, they had their head down, they were doing stuff on their phone, just about every single person on the train. And I just thought, wow, how life has changed dramatically over the last few years, and how disconnected we are as a human race. And yet technology just is, it's just such a play in everybody's life. It gives us a distraction. I think you need to be consciously aware of how much you allow that to distract you. I'd love to encourage you to maintain a daily ritual and have positive habits. Set yourself up, have a plan, and be focused on creating the day that you actually want your day to go like. Incorporate mindfulness practices into your daily routine, and for you to be focused on achieving outcomes in line with your goals. Every morning, I want you to jump out of bed. I want you to be positive and inspired and excited about what the day has in store for you. Now, ladies, that doesn't happen accidentally, especially after you go through a separation and divorce. For many of us, it brought us to our knees. We lost our confidence. We lost our ability to want to even, be able to put two steps in front of each other at one stage and be able to have clear thoughts. And it's very easy to get caught in our heads. Part of our healing and growth has to be to get back to that place that we're in control of our life and we're living our life according to what feels good to us and what moves us in the direction of the life that we actually want to create. We don't want to just be existing, and we don't want to just be living our life for everybody else. We really got to get back to living our life on our terms for us, and for us to create something amazing for ourselves. One of the things that I really believe in is minimizing our clutter. To do a good clean, a spring clean around you, your room, your desk, I know myself, I get home from traveling, and very often we're traveling and we get home and we've only got a week and then we're away again, and we just go from thing to thing. And sometimes it feels like we live out of suitcases. And, this year we made a conscious decision that we will unpack when we get home and put our cases away as soon as we can, because it just feels like we get back to normality. And even if we drag them out a week later, it at least feels like in between time that we're breaking that pattern of just living out of our suitcases and, going from one thing to another. So minimizing clutter is, for me, it feels really fresh to clean my room, to clean the bathroom, to have my space organized, to have a nice candle, to have an environment that supports me and that gives me that peace and calm. I have a bath most nights. That's my thing that I love, is after a big day's work, I have a bath, I have bubbles, I have my, my music or a meditation, or I might even have an audio book where I might even still be learning, but I'm doing it in an environment that really adds to my soul and what I really enjoy. So we have to create beautiful environment for ourselves, what reduces our stress and gives us the ability to reconnect with ourselves, so we fill up our cup. And when our cup's full, we can give to everybody else. But if we're not looking after ourselves, we have no energy to be able to give back or focus to anybody else.
I like the saying, heard from Fiona was, you fill your cup first and then you give from the saucer. And what we have always done in the past, and I know I've been totally, responsible for this as well, has been I give from the cup, and then there's nothing in the saucer, and the cup is empty as well. So, and then that's when you're totally depleted and exhausted and drained, and you don't even know how you're going to fill the cup. You don't even know where the cup is some days. So this comes back to fill your cup and keep it full, and overflow it into the saucer and give from the saucer. And that way you're continuously feeding into the saucer your joy, your happiness, your peace, your contentment, your calmness, your patience, your role modelness, and all these things that you want to be. And then you're giving, and you can keep giving, and you're not drained, you're not empty, and you're not exhausted. And that's a really important thing. And I love that analogy as well. So start your mindfulness journey. How to embrace the path. Mindfulness is created by growing your mind and learning how to be peaceful. Be kind to yourself as you explore this transformative practice. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in an instant. It is something that's going to take lots of practice, and you are going to fall off that horse, and you are going to get back into chaos and mayhem and overwhelm. And then it's about you going, this is not okay. And how do I get back? And you have to just make the decision and take control to get back to where you were or where you want to be. And seek support. Consider connecting with a divorce recovery coach to educate you and provide an accountability buddy, an accountability partner, someone that's on your side, on your team, that is an unreasonable friend that holds you accountable and doesn't let you get away with your stuff, and making sure that, you know, your BS, your belief systems are in place, and that you're on target to where you want to go as well. And acknowledge and appreciate even the smallest steps you take towards greater presence and inner peace make a massive difference. It's all heading in the right direction. It's in the right direction. So even little steps count. So little things make a massive difference. And don't discount, oh, this isn't enough, or just the 1% make 100%. Just do enough of them.
So, you know, ladies, there is an invitation to be joyfully present. You know, you can choose what you want in your life. You're not a victim of your circumstance. You don't have to stay stuck, and you don't have to stay living a life that you don't like. So the path to true happiness begins right here. You know, in this very moment, you get a choice what you do, what you think, what you feel, and what actions you take. No one can do that for you, only you can. And, you know, so many women stay stuck. They stay procrastinating, and they stay hurt. And then that hurt turns into disappointment and bitterness, and you allow it to run your life. And that life that you're living, it isn't even a living life, it's an existence. And you're giving your power away because someone hurt you. And when you think about it, how mad is that? You know, someone hurt you, and you are angry and sad, and you allow them to steal the rest of your life. And so, you know, you're the opposite of that. Where you've got a choice is, if you don't want to live that life, you can say, no, I want more than that. I love myself enough that I know that I deserve more than that. I have been a good wife. I have been a good mum. I've tried my best. I've done everything I possibly can. And I believe that's most of you ladies out there, and you can hand on heart say that about yourself. You've given it your all. Well, I believe this is the best time of our life for us to say, it's my time. It's my time to step up, and it's my time to create a beautiful life for myself. I want to get up every single day happy. I want to have something to look forward to. I want my dreams to come true, and I don't want you to sell out on yourself. So, you know, I believe that we are one step away from changing our life. And all that means is that if you don't know what you're doing and you've tried everything else, is, believe me, just try one more thing. Book a free call with us and let us have a talk to you about how we can help you change your life. We've helped over 600 ladies we've personally coached to create a new life. And the amazing thing about this, ladies, is it's not just one lady that we help. When we help her, she helps her whole family. You know, a mum, when she heals, can connect with her kids. She can give her kids that guidance and direction and love, and, you know, understand where they're coming from, because when your relationship breaks down, it affects your kids at such a deep level. Even though they're not talking about it, they're hurting inside. And when they're hurting inside, they make poor decisions as they go forward, and they play out in their relationships and their decision making down the track. And so, you know, when a mum heals and her kids see that she's healthy and she's happy, they know that they can just step back and start living their own life again. They don't have to worry about mum. So, you know, it's something that not only are we giving to ourselves, we're giving it to our kids. So I just want to encourage you ladies, if you're out there and you're wondering, what do I do and how do I move forward? I believe you're one step away from changing your life.
And you have control. It's up to you. And I always had the saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. And this is up to you, ladies. So I think this is really important, that this is not something that you think it's going to happen down the track. It's like it's now. Like for you, it's like, if not now, when? Like, this is for you to be able to change your life and not put up with what you don't deserve or what doesn't serve you either. Ladies.
Kylie just said, I appreciate you sharing that. What a transformation you gave me and my family 3 years ago. Kylie was one of our girls that went through our Shine program, one of our 600. And, you know, like, she's got a gorgeous guy and she's got a beautiful life, and she's recreated something really special for herself. She took herself from that sadness to living, jumping out of bed every day. And I totally believe it's possible for every single one of you. So, you know, if what we're talking about resonates with you, you know, give us a call. It's a free call. We do a free call, and we don't charge for it because we really want to help. And if we're not a good fit and I don't think the program's going to be a good fit for you, honestly, we will tell you, because we're not about taking money off people and not being able to help them. Our goal is to change your life, and we will work with you. If you are coachable, committed, and you want to change, then we're going to hold your hand through the process, and we make it easy. And, you know, just have a look at our results, womenontransition.com/results. Go and have a look at the girls' stories, because you can't fake that stuff. So, okay, girls, we're off now.
Yes. Ciao. Have an awesome night.
And we will see you next week. Bye, girls.